Hi, everybody.
Bringing it? Okay. Did you turn it on?
Want to bring it up?
Bring it up.
Hello? Oh, there it is. Hello, everybody. Grab a seat if you would. Everybody in the back, would you mind grabbing a seat? We're going to get started. Do we need some more chairs? Do we have more chairs? Okay, great. Thank you. Well, I think it's 7 o'clock, and keeping with tradition, we like to start on time. So welcome, everybody, and thank you for coming tonight. I'm Jane Hare, and I'm the president of SD Media Pros. So newly elected, so thank you for that. And this is an amazing, amazing turnout. Thank you for coming out tonight. And to those of you who went to the wrong address, I'm sorry. I think that was me. I am the one who posted the Facebook event. I'm the one who clicked on options for all as the location, and then I didn't double check that that went to the right location for tonight. So I apologize if you did some running around. That was my fault. Or you're not here yet, exactly. So I guess I have to apologize at the end too. This is squeaking a lot. Squeaking a lot. A lot of feedback. Okay, maybe that'll be better. So a couple of things. We have a lot of new board members. So I'm wondering if everybody who's here, who's on the board of SD Media Pros, could stand up. Yeah. Bob Unger is our CEO. Mary Ann is an at-large member. Augie Augusto is an at-large member. Rich Varville is new and is our marketing person. Okay, who did I miss? Jeff Trober in the back. Keith Methan. Kevin Marty is brand new. He's going to be doing membership. So see him if you're not a member and you want to join. Mickey Peterson in the back doing social media, posting only good photos of all of us. She promises. David Rains. Robin Martin, our vice president, is over there. Sasha is working on our live streaming. I know Christine Gatlin wasn't able to make it here tonight, and there may be, Mark Masonuv is not here tonight, and Mike Brugemeyer, who's one of our at-large board members, is not here either. So I thought we might do some quick introductions. We have a lot of new people. So Bob, you want to kick us off? Just name and what your area of specialty is, and just very briefly.
Bob Unger, and I like to shoot and edit.
I'm James Allberger. My website is voiceacting.com. I wrote the book on voice acting, I teach voice acting, and I also do location, field sound, and audio post-production.
Jerry Williams, I'm a cinematographer and one-man band production company.
Test. Okay.
Alrighty then. So, my name's Jazz Rahman, and I'm just new and just local filmmaker, production, organization, efficiency. That's pretty much what I like to do. All right.
I'm Britt Taylor, and I'm a writer.
I'm Shannon Witten. I'm an actress and producer.
Anthony Mays, actor and director.
Tom Kinnaman, past president, and I have my own production company. All the streaming gear and all the multi-camera stuff is mine, so if you have a need for that kind of a thing, I got you locked up.
Jim Rusher, I edit and shoot.
My name is Julio Martinez. I usually do, I write, I direct, I am a DP, I do sound. I have a lot of hats, so I also have my own production company, is Mushroom House Productions. And yeah.
My name is Jeffrey Lehman. I have a travel TV series called We Can Explore that's been on PBS for God knows how long this time, 15 years, I guess, 16 years. China, that aired primetime last week, Tuesday, and I understand from information yesterday, it got quite good ratings, so I'm pretty happy about that.
I'm Bob Sloan. I've worked in production in this town for going on 40 years, and I'm here to dispel the myth that I'm retired.
Bob, it's good to see you. Phil Ferrari. I have a company called Ferrari Productions. Been around not quite as long as Bob, but almost.
Patrick Espinosa, freelance videographer and editor.
Jim Staler, in-house producer for Sharp Healthcare, and I do freelance on the side, so writing, producing, acting.
Hi, John Van Rokel. I'm a screenwriter, and we just finished our first short. Check out runnerthemovie.com. Thank you.
I'm Roger Scholey. I was at the Union Tribune for 44 years, and now I'm busy on other things. I'm not a photographer, cinematographer yet.
Yes, in the right place.
Thomas Peterson, producer, actor with Shooting Flare Productions.
Hi, I'm Cherry Peterson. I'm his wife and a former voice student of James Alberger. And I'm a belly dancer and an actor, but I'm getting into filmmaking. So let's see.
Hi, I'm Sergio, and I'm a motion graphics designer.
Hi, I'm Christy. I'm a technical artist, and I do gaffing on the side.
Hi, I'm Michaela Palmer. I'm a student, but I do a lot of grip and electric and cinematography.
My name is Michael Wood, Marine Corps veteran and producer in North County.
My name is Sharon Weiss. I am a writer and a student of this process, so I'm trying to learn along the way.
Mariano Rodriguez, and also studying directing and producing.
I'm Mario Barnaby. I'm a TV producer.
Hello, my name is Steve Carson, and color grading is my thing.
I'm Lois Harrington. I work with this gentleman right here. We have a company called We Are Harrington. I'm a graphic designer and a producer.
And I'm the other half. I shoot and edit.
I am Ludovico, and I mainly do graphic design and storyboard on the side.
I'm Jim Fegan. I'm a composer and sound designer.
I'm Kevin Marty. I'm a freelance editor and shooter, and I hand out Crapple tickets.
Max Navas. I'm the music and audio instructor of this facility, and thank you for coming. It's fantastic. So.
Hi, I'm Anna. I'm a student, and I'm an actress and voice actress.
Hi, I'm Riley Brown. I am a student at John Paul University, and I am a film editor, colorist, and sound designer.
Hi, I'm Sandy Buhner, and I'm best known for nagging people. So if you need a nagger on the set, I'm your girl.
She's telling the truth. I'm Marianne Bates. I've been on the board for 10 years here. It's so great to see so many familiar faces and new students. I'm a writer and producer.
I'm Gail Bates, and I do pyrotechnics.
Keep an eye on that guy. That's right. He's dangerous.
I'm Lucy, and I'm a student.
I'm Jean, and I'm Lucy's driver.
Thank you for coming.
Hello, I'm Horacio Jones. I own Cinema Viva Video Productions, and we do corporate videos. And every Thursday, I produce a live streaming talk show on Facebook called Cinema Stream, where I interview actors and filmmakers. So if anybody's interested in being on my show, every Thursday at 7 p.m., please let me know. Thank you.
Hi, I'm Angela Cassidy. I'm an actress and producer.
My name is John Prieto. I have a mortgage company in Carlsbad, and I create propaganda for my company.
Hi everyone, my name is Ryan Kurosami. I work with Media Arts Center San Diego, and I'm, hey, how's it going? I'm primarily a producer and a shooter.
I'm Greg Lefebvre. Primarily, I'm a media trainer. I teach executives how to be on TV and how not to say, crap, take two. I also have a production company specializing in drones. If you need to leave the ground, I'm your guy.
Hello, I'm Paula McAuliffe, and I'm an actress and voiceover artist.
Hello, I'm Augie Augusto. I am a board member, and I'm also working on a documentary.
Michael Griffith. When I'm not day trading stocks, I do a little camera work now and then.
Hi, I'm Mario. I supervise all of the student film productions. All of the posters that you see over there end up being the films that our students do here. We have 45 here, adults with disabilities, with autism, Asperger's, Down syndrome. And this is basically like a film school for them. After high school, a lot of these adults come here and they become awesome filmmakers. And if you ever want to do like a master class or a demo on something you want to show us, we would be more than happy and excited to show it. So thank you.
Thank you for hosting us tonight.
I'm Dan Roper. You're going to get an earful of me in a minute, so I'll pass this on.
I'm Rich Farville. I am a board member as well, and I own a production company called RSVP Films, and I'm a writer-director, and just recently finished my first feature film, which is getting 4.9 stars on Amazon Prime right now. Thank you. Yeah, but I have a full... Oh, it's called The Call True Story. You guys can look that up. But I also do music videos and narrative films, and Mikey can take over because he shot some stuff for me. So.
I'm Mike Peterson. I'm a cinematographer for myself, intellectual entertainment, just all over.
Teresa Dawson Davis. I'm a director and producer for intellectual entertainment.
I'm Marty Crane. I'm a voiceover talent. After you get your beautiful camera shots and your script and your words, I'll breathe life into them.
Hi, I'm Lauren O'Connell. I'm an After Effects artist, visual effects, animations, motion graphics at o'connelldesign.com.
I'm David Rains. I am a board member, and I'm also an actor, writer, director, and I teach screenwriting.
And my name is Seth Reyes. I am a student here, and I'm also a studio tech and sound engineer. Huh? Oh. Oh, yes, and musician.
Hi there, I'm Robin Martin. I'm on the board here. I manage the multimedia services team at UC San Diego, and I'm also a freelance editor and filmmaker.
And our vice president for the organization.
Hi, I'm Sasha. It's a little bit meta to be watching and listening to myself at the same time. I produce, edit, and shoot, and documentary is my passion.
Hi, my name is Keith Methvin. I'm a composer.
Hi, I'm Mickey. I'm on the board. I do, or I should say I'm a social media junkie and editor for Nortec Security and Control in Carlsbad.
Hello, I'm Tor Johansson with Blackmagic Design. I'm a cinematography specialist and an ASC associate.
Hi, I'm Emily Sedoulis. I'm your local Roscoe rep. We are a manufacturer of filters, backdrops, color-changing LED fixtures like this one that I can work from my phone. Ooh, lots of fun stuff. So come see me what we got to help you out. If you can see it on camera, we can help.
You just broke the camera. I'm Jeff Trober. Besides operating camera tonight, I'm on the board. I'm also a in-house producer and director at Seismic Software.
Hi, I'm Eric Baker. I'm a video editor at Options for All, and I graduated from this place last year.
Congratulations. That's great.
I'm Kevin Burke. In addition to going to events and speaking last, I'm also a freelance videographer and filmmaker, assistant director, gaffer, grip.
Yes, of course. Oh, yeah, Jeremiah.
Hi guys, I'm Jeremiah Wilson. I'm an audio engineer student at Options for All Film and Media.
That's great. Well, thank you everybody again for being here. This is the first sort of traditional meeting that we've had in 4 months. We had our holiday party in December. We had a special Saturday event in November. We had our showcase in October. So the last time we were together in the evening was all the way back to the end of September. So going forward for the next, I guess, 8 months, we will be meeting on a regular basis on the 4th Wednesday. If you're not signed up for the newsletter, make sure you do that. You can sign up over with Harold, who I forgot is one of our volunteers for the board. So sorry about that, Harold. But make sure you sign up. That's a great way to get information, and then also on Instagram and on Facebook. So why don't we move on to our Vendors Corner? This month we have 2 Vendors Corners. So Tom, you organize those as our head of sponsorships.
Yes, thank
so
you.
Take it away.
I think I'm going to toss to Dan here so he can explain a couple things. I think this is the one that's been giving us problems. Dan's an instrumental part of this organization, and one of the things that I really want him and I want to hear from him is there's a way to get the students as basically, quote unquote, free help, okay? So there's an internship program. The students are paid for by the state, and I will let Dan elaborate on that along with everything else they do here. Dan Roper.
Thank you. Welcome. The energy level is a little bit different with an older crowd than the kids we usually have sitting here. So it's very subdued. Wanted to say thank you for coming and seeing our entire operation that we have here. It's pretty wonderful to see what these 45 individuals can do, and we're trying to get them placed out in the real world, and we're a vocational program. We work closely with them to try and help them. They're very good at stuff, learning things. It's the interactions with people that sometimes trip them up a little bit. So we call that soft skills. So we try and work with them on the soft skills to get them to a position where they can mingle in positions like this, places like this, and feel comfortable and actually step into the world. And you met 3 of our students that are here tonight. There were 4. I'm not sure where Tyler went, but he left a show called Wavelength. From there, I went on to a small production company for about 5 years, and then joined up with Cox Communications, Channel 4 San Diego. We were the rights holders for the Padres. We did that for 15 years. I primarily worked on a biography show called One on One with Jane Mitchell. We did about 100 shows doing biographies on all the players, coaches, and so forth. I was the photographer, editor, co-producer on that. Then we lost that contract, and we went from 137 employees down to 7 employees. That was really hard. I made the cut on the last 7, then they did another downsizing about 2 years ago, and I didn't make the cut on that one. So I branched out, and I was able to find this place. Actually, Joey Travolta approached me. Joey Travolta is very involved with this program here. He started a program like this. His is for-profit. He's been doing it for about 10 years. And he partnered with our nonprofit about 2 years ago. And now we have our facility here. We have a similar facility in San Bernardino and a similar facility in San Jose. And he also partners with a couple of other nonprofits. And together we are all creating this content that you can see on this poster over here. It's called Inclusion Films. And you can see wonderful work done by students just like all through Southern California and Central California, San Francisco area. It's a subscription-based network, Netflix-style thing. It's $4.99 a month, and every 2 weeks you get a brand new film that's done by these students, and they do some amazing stuff. So part of what we do here in trying to get them placed, we have 2 legs. One of them is an internship program that Tom was talking about. I shared with him, and his eyes lit up. The way it works is the state will provide for 1 year's time or $10,400, whichever gets used up first, to pay them for an internship. Basically, all we need from any of you, if you need help, is to say, hey, we could use an intern. We are willing to say we are the interns place of business, or technically the payer, paid by 24-hour home care. They do all the payrolling, take care of and all of the insurance and anything that you would not have to worry about having them be on set with you. They're all taken care of for that. The state pays. All you would need to do is kind of make sure that their hours are written down, and I know what their hours are. I turn their hours in. They get the experience, and you get the labor. So if you're interested in that, please don't hesitate to get with me, and I'll give you all the information you need about that. Second thing we're doing is we've opened a small production company. You might have seen in here we've got a small studio. We can do music videos, commercials, any type of stuff. We use 6 of our graduates that we've hired in our production company for that. We just recently got a grant and acquired a C300. They shoot their films with a C100, so we've stepped up to the C300, and we're going to be learning. The other part of the grant was a Movi Free Fly with the Mimic controller. So we'll all be learning that, and hopefully within some time here pretty soon, we'll be able to handle that kind of production for you as well. So, and we're way cheaper than anybody else. So I'll work a production quota for you. Just let me know what needs you have. And that's it for me. Thank you for showing up, and enjoy the rest of the time.
Thank you, Dan. Thank you. Thank you. We're really fortunate to have Emily Stadlis from Roscoe with us tonight. Come on up, Emily, to talk about what Roscoe, you know, gels, okay, but there's so much more to it, and that's what Emily is going to talk about.
Thank you so much. Thank you guys for having me. As Thomas said, our full name is Roscoe Labs, and that's because we do a lot of different creative things to help you as producers shape, color, and change your light on camera and to give you different visual backgrounds. So we've been making gel for over 100 years. Come see me and learn about the differences in gel, because not all gel is created equal, and you do have some options depending on budget and depending on your color needs. We were the first manufacturer to make an LED fixture that looked good on camera and could actually reproduce skin tones, and we've since expanded. Thank you. So the fixture that I have with me tonight is called the Mix fixture. We make it in a variety of sizes. They're known for being very, very lightweight. But the big thing that we've really done that won us the award for Best in Lighting at NAB, Cinegear, and Cinic was we've made it easy to use a color-changing fixture. The worlds and the possibilities with color-changing fixtures are changing, and with that increased level of complexity also means getting control over that can be kind of difficult. So we've developed a free app that connects directly with the fixture that you can use, as well as onboard controls. They're really easy to understand for a variety of user levels. So please come over, see me about that, and come talk about your other lighting needs. We've got different ways you can project logos, you can texture light, you can add motion and do water reflections. So there's a really broad range of cool lighting tricks that Roscoe has up our sleeve. And then in addition to that, what you'll see in Tor's Blackmagic studio back there is our front night soft drop. So this is a new way of getting backings. It's a way to add some visual interest if you're shooting small scale studios. We do have an Oscar award actually for the development of that day-night backdrop technology. So you front light it, looks like it's day, backlight it for night, go in between, you can get twilight, you can get dawn and dusk, you can project different things on it. So it's a really cool way to have something a little bit more dynamic and interesting in your background than just a white cyc or a blue grad. Thank you guys so much for having me. Look forward to talking to you. Oh. Can I also say, please, one thing that we've added this year with our gel line, the e-color line, is we are now donating a portion of those proceeds back to the Safety for Sarah Foundation. So this is in conjunction with IATSE and ICG, thank you. And this goes to support a network that helps to increase awareness of safety on set. If you don't already have it, please download the free ICG app. It's an anonymous reporting app, even if you are not a member of the union, especially the students there. I know I put myself dangerous positions and was kind of scared to speak up on set. This allows you to anonymously report and get support from ICG and IATSE to make sure we're all taking care of one another on set, because at the end of the day, this is a collaborative network and art form, and we want to take care of one another. Thank you. Now for real.
Great. Thank you, Emily. Be sure to leave your email address with Emily. I want to stay in touch with what Roscoe is doing, because I think there's a lot we can all use there. Next, I'd like to introduce Tor Johansson from Blackmagic Design. Tor, as he said, is camera evangelist for Blackmagic, and here he is, Tor Johansson.
Hello. Thanks for having me. It's a joy to be here with Roscoe. I'm a big fan myself. I use their gels, their lights, and their backdrops. I got to shoot one of the backdrops custom, which was a lot of fun, in downtown LA, which I wanted to bring, but it was missing in the factory. But I shot with the Ursa Mini Pro. I shot the downtown LA at night. They printed it into this like 12 by 14 foot backdrop that you could light from the front or the back, and it looks gorgeous. But it's a great technology. Anyway, about Blackmagic, I've been with the company 5 years. Initially, it's a privately held company, so you can't invest, but I invested myself because I saw what Blackmagic was doing. 6 years ago, we started making cameras. Now we have 13 cameras in 6 years. And I just got blown away. I saw the direction the company was going and how fast they're moving, and in the right direction, in my opinion. This camera now, we have the Ursa Mini Pro. It competes with cameras that are $75,000 to $100,000. Ours is $6,000. So we have people that are using it on feature films, and then the assistants are buying them after the end of the film because they're so affordable and they love the picture. So I'm excited about the technology. I have the Ursa Mini Pro, and I have the new Pocket 4K, super popular. We can't make them fast enough. $12.95 for a 4K RAW camera, interchangeable lenses, Bluetooth control, so many things. It has XLR with phantom power on it. $12.95 plus you get a full version of DaVinci Resolve Studio, which is $300. So cool. Resolve is an amazing program. Download it for free. The free version is like 95% of the whole program. So if you're not a big studio, you don't need to pay. The paid version does stereo effects. It does resolutions larger than 4K if you're doing 8K output. Not a lot of people doing that yet. If you're doing multi-person workflows where you have 10 people working on the same project, you need a paid version. Otherwise, you don't. So download the free one, Windows, Linux, or Mac. Give it a try. Come back and visit me. I'm actually an end user. I'm a cinematographer. I'm not a sales guy. One of the neat things about Magic is they're hiring people like me because we're passionate about the product, and we don't care about selling because we don't sell anything directly. It's resellers. I love the product, and people feel that they're energized by that. That I don't care about selling things, so it ends up working to our advantage. But come back and see me in the back.
Excellent. I think this one's the one with the batteries going out. So anything else, Jane, before we move on with the primary program? That one's turned off. Here, let me give, pot that one up there. Just hit the red button. Here.
There we go. Actually, well, I don't have much to say. Thank you, Tom, for organizing the Vendors Corner. Thank you to Roscoe and Blackmagic Design for being here. And Tom organized tonight's meeting. So take it away with our introduction of Bernie Mitchell.
Well, there we go. We'll just go back with this guy. If you've been around for a while, you've seen Bernie give presentations before. He's been a fixture with Panasonic. Every other year we have a camera shootout. Panasonic, Keycode Media up in LA, County area has been participating in that. Sony, JVC. Now I'm very pleased that Blackmagic is getting into the fray with us. I'm really happy about that. Bernie also gave a presentation at one of our Media Pro camps. So this year, it's a Saturday. It's a day-long event. With any luck, one of Tor's associates with Blackmagic is going to bring the truck out and show off a bunch of stuff. He says, well, I think we need to do it after NAB, so we really got some new stuff to show off. So with any luck, I think that's Saturday the 27th of April, if I'm recalling it correctly. That's a day-long event, and you really get a chance to dig in. I mean, the meetings are fantastic, and we get to learn new things and meet people, but the day-long event, you really get to dig in and take everything to the next level. So Bernie's been involved with us for quite a while now. We really appreciate his input. He's reached out to us this past year, and everything just came together so nicely for him to give his talk with us tonight. And I think we're all very interested in the subject he has. So everybody, Bernie Mitchell.
Thank you, Tom. Is the lav on? Can you guys hear me? Yep. Okay, good. Wow, good turnout. Thank you so much for coming down. I'm pleased to be here. Listening to everybody do their little introduction, I think I'll sit down. You guys can come up here and do the presentation. Okay. I've given, over the years, I've spoken at events, film schools around the country, events around the world. The last few months, I've been working on this. And this, tonight, I've added a whole bunch of stuff to it. So I'm going to go pretty fast through a lot of material. The fact of the matter is, how do you think like a cinematographer? Okay, Tom mentions their Saturday events. Sure, we could spend a weekend and really get into this. We don't have a weekend tonight. So we're going to skate over a lot of stuff. But I think hopefully you'll find it interesting. Okay, who am I? This is my background. I've been in the business way too long. Okay. I've done essentially everything at one time or another. I started out in film. I've done television. I've done video work. I've done VR way before anybody thought of it. Multimedia, all that kind of stuff. Radio, yes, I've done radio as well. Thank you. So anyway, what you're going to hear tonight, in fact, let me move forward with the disclaimer. What you're going to hear tonight are my opinions, okay? I'm not being sponsored by anybody, right? So I don't have to be cautious of what I'm going to say. What you're going to hear are my opinions. They may not be yours, and you may disagree with me, and that's fine, because that's what makes this art form so, so exciting. So anyway, if you feel like you got to flame me, okay, well then, you know, have at it. But here we go, because this is we're gonna, like I say, move pretty fast. Okay, I'm gonna start with some of my background here, just to run through a couple of the gigs that I was involved in. I say this was my funnest gig, and the reason I say funnest is because Carnival Cruise Lines was known as the fun ships. And for a number of years, every time Carnival brought out a new ship, we documented it. And so I've shot all over the Caribbean. Now, in fact, I thought, because I shot all over the Caribbean, I thought that I could retire nicely on all of that stock footage. Well, I don't know if anybody remembers this thing called videotape, but it's what it was shot on. Anybody remember standard definition? Yeah, that's what it was shot on. So guess what? I'm still working. Okay. That was my funnest gig. Okay, this was my hardest gig. See what it says on the side of the camera there, if you can read it? 3D. I shot a lot of 3D. It was fun, actually, but the reason this was the hardest gig is what we're doing here is we are shooting a soccer game in 3D. Hardest gig I ever worked on. And you know what? It was a total failure. You cannot shoot field sports in 3D. It just does not work. Okay. My coolest gig. This is the Bahamas. In the Bahamas, this is the Atlantis Resort. And I went down there and shot a promotional thing when the resort was opening. We did a couple of interesting things. We took a helicopter and put a film camera on this remote-controlled helicopter. It was not a drone. This was a big thing about this thing. And we flew it. Let's see, is this going to work? No, I'll just come over here. We flew the helicopter through here. Then we decided to do something really stupid. Because this slide, you actually climb up the back. This is all open up here with the roof on top of it. And then you get on the slide, and you go down the slide, and you go down this tube into the shark tank. So I had this grand idea that, okay, we got an actress. We're going to have the actress come up here. We're going to have the drone come up around. And actually, because we couldn't see her if we were above, it had to fly through the opening, which meant it was about this far above her head. Very, very stupid. Beautiful shot. I got to tell you. The helicopter came right through here, followed her down the slide. Looked good. It was a helicopter about this big. It was a remote control helicopter. So anyway, not the smartest move, but as I say, very, very good shot. But what was cool about this gig is what it led to, okay? And what it led to was my hottest gig, which was shooting in the Middle East. Because interestingly enough, this is the Burj Al Arab in Dubai, the world's only 7-star hotel. There is no 7-star rating, but Dubai says that, okay? The Sheikh of Dubai owns it. The Sheikh of Dubai saw that thing that we shot in the Bahamas, and he said, we got better hotels. So all of a sudden now, I'm shooting, anybody, if you go to Dubai, it's one of the weirdest places in the world. You are in 130 degrees in the summer, and it's humid. It's like Miami, you know, and you're in a desert, but it's because the Persian Gulf is right there. Okay, so that was my hottest gig. This was my coldest. Okay, I shot the Iditarod dog race, and we went from Anchorage to Nome. What year? A few years back. But the thing was, it was 20 days on the trail, minus 67 degrees. Now, minus 67 degrees, we actually got the cameras to work. That was pretty cool. People don't work so well at minus 67 degrees. One of the things we learned real quick is you could never, ever use a tripod at minus 67 because you'd take your glove off and you'd grab the tripod, and guess what? The tripod is now permanently attached to you. Okay.
Is that film, or I mean, still videotape?
No, this was shot on solid state. Videotape would not spin at minus 67 degrees. Okay. My most inspiring gig was down here in Sydney, and I was actually standing right here during the Sydney Olympics when the torch went right by. Very cool. And then, of course, my most uplifting gig was the Albuquerque Balloon Fiesta. So lots of different things. All right, so building on all of that experience and everything, here's what we're going to talk about. How to think like a cinematographer. First thing you need to do, plan, plan, plan. It's interesting to hear the gentleman say that he has storyboards. Thank God. Okay? Know the terminology of the industry you're in. Okay? And I'll talk about that. There is a great bunch of garbage being tossed around by people who think they know what they're talking about. Create your look. And your look will be different than my look. Understand lighting. Thank God Roscoe's here, right? Understand lighting, and we'll talk a little bit about the concept of negative fill. Understand shutter speeds. Kind of basic. A lot of people don't get it. Understand the color science of what your cameras are capable of. And every manufacturer's cameras have different color science. Okay? Understand things like gamma and high dynamic range and how that affects color science. What is the difference between raw and log footage? Okay? They are not the same. Understand anamorphic. All right? So that's what we're going to try to cover here real quick. Bit of history. In 2002, the first digital camera came out, which was the Panasonic DVX-100. The thing that made it so remarkable was you could shoot 24 frames a second. okay, on a video camera. I remember being at NAB, standing next to this camera, and people came up and went, wow, 24 frames a second. I can do exactly what Spielberg is doing. No, you can't. Okay. Another game changer. When Red announced, okay, all of a sudden, whew, big sensor. Oh, great resolution. Oh, took the industry by surprise. Now, Tor, if he's in the room, I apologize because I may have the dates on this wrong. But another big changer was Blackmagic. Blackmagic, and I was thinking it's around 2014, I'm not sure, but introduced on the Monday of NAB, introduced a camera that was a 4K camera for, at that time when they announced it, $4,000. I was doing a lot of work with Panasonic, so I was in the Panasonic booth, and everybody was going, Blackmagic, $4,000 camera, what are we going to do, what are we going to do? They hadn't made the Vericam yet, okay? Panasonic was very late. So I went up to the engineers that were building the Vericam, and I said, guys, stop all your work on the Vericam. I said, Blackmagic has just proven that people will pay $1,000 per 1K of resolution. So make the Vericam a 64,000K camera, and you're profitable, right? They didn't get my humor. I don't know. All right. The fact is, there are a gazillion digital cameras, digital cinema cameras. This is not representative by any means. Blackmagic, Red, Sony, Panasonic, Canon, Alexa, DSLRs. And then, of course, there is the elephant in the room. Okay? Yeah, really. Now, just because this says digital cinema cameras does not mean when you buy them, you're a cinematographer. Okay? All right, so, sorry to break the bubble. That's right. So, are you a cinematographer? How many people in this room would say they are cinematographers? Okay. Okay. This is the actual definition. Cinematographer, or a DP, is the chief over the camera and light crews working on a film, TV production, or other live piece, and is responsible for making artistic and technical decisions related to the image. Okay, look at that. Nowhere in there does it say that you shoot. Okay? Remember Ansel Adams, great still photography, never ever pushed the shutter. Okay? A cinematographer doesn't necessarily operate the camera. That's what camera operators are for. Okay? All right. Are you a filmmaker? How many people would say they're filmmakers? Okay? The definition of a filmmaker is an individual who is proficient in all aspects of movie making. They write, they direct, they edit, and produce. Also doesn't say that they actually shoot. Now you can, I'm not saying you can't, all right? But there's this big myth, I'm buying this camera, I'm gonna shoot, I'm a cinematographer, okay? Are you a shooter? I can't tell you how many people come and go, oh, I'm a shooter, I'm a shooter. I looked hard and long. That's the definition of a shooter. Okay? How many people would say you're videographers? Okay. Look at the definition of a videographer. Not very good, is it? All right. This is my friend Lou Lita. He's a one-man band. That's his rig. He's got one of the best gigs in that he shoots a lot of stuff for the PGA, basically for Phil Mickelson. And what he does is he walks backwards on the golf course all day long shooting Phil. Now here's the question. How many people work on a film set? Now, most people will say about half. Right? Okay. But if you actually start listing them, sure, there's a big, long list of people. Now, that doesn't mean, right, if you haven't got the budget, you're not going to have all of those people. I get that. But of course, the people that are the most popular people on any set anywhere in the world, craft services. Right? True. Okay. Let's talk for a minute about the difference between a videographer and a cinematographer. And again, I'm not going to put either one down. I've been both. But they are very different ways of thinking. Okay? So, videographer, well, that's me. I'm in Stonehenge. Okay? I can't tell you how many times I've had a camera and it's like in a one-man band, you know, and you're going, you know, you're doing whatever you need to do, right? Because a videographer will do anything to get the shot. Because, yeah, right. Because by and large, what you're doing as a videographer is you're capturing the moment. All right? Now, a cinematographer has a whole different magic trick. All right? Look at all the people on this set. They will do everything to get the shot because they're creating the moment. I have been on sets where it will take 6+ hours to set up a shot, which may make it into the final film. And if it does, it may be 15 to 20 seconds. Now, it's nice to have those kind of budgets, but it is a different way of looking at it. Okay? Different mindset when you're standing back beside or behind the camera. I go to a lot of film schools. I do a lot of guest lecturing around the country. Then versus now. Okay? I'm definitely old school. Test your equipment. I can't tell you how many times I get calls from someone who bought X camera and it's not working and they're on set. Right? Test your equipment. New school? Why would I do that? Yeah. Determine what your look is going to be. New school? Why? Because they all have this opinion that whatever it is, we used to say this years ago, we'll fix it in post. Right? I walked in years ago, I walked into an editing suite in Burbank where we're spending $2,000 an hour, and here was the editor, and he had a t-shirt on, and he says, "This is post, worry." Okay. Figure out your exposure and your ISO that you're going to shoot it at. Why? I can do that in post. No, you can't. Pick lenses and filters. Why? We'll colorize it later. No. Design your lighting. Who cares? I can't tell you how many times I've seen one light here and maybe a backlight, and we'll call it done. No, we'll call it ugly. Right? And never, ever move the camera. This is what I was taught in Film School 101 the first day. Never, ever move the camera. What? Of course I'm going to move the camera. The reason you say never ever move the camera is traditional film will tell you that you never move the camera, you move the support. So you track. You push in, you dolly in, you come back, okay? You never ever move the camera itself. Everybody moves the camera. And here's where we get into terminology. Before I do the terminology slide, I mentioned this to somebody, I just thought of it again. Everybody's seen The Office, right? Okay, good show, fun show. If you ever get a chance, Go back and look at it and turn the sound off. It drives you crazy. The camera never, ever stops moving. Okay? Now, when you watch it normally, you get caught up in the story, you get caught up in the acting, it's funny, you don't care. But if you turn the audio off, 5 minutes, you're done with it. Okay, terminology. If you're going to move the camera, understand what these terms mean. Can you pan up to that tree? No. Okay? These things are tossed around all the time. It used to be when you were on a set, everybody was very meticulous to make sure that what they said people could understand, because that way you'd move quickly. All right. Okay. Give me that shallow depth of field. When DSLRs came out, all of a sudden, everybody in the world wanted shallow depth of field because they could do it. Well, that's very cool. Is it the film look? Oh, it has to be, because everybody always says, I want shallow depth of field. That looks like film. I saw a film the other day, 2 actors, one here, one back here. Camera's out here. For 3 minutes, these 2 people are talking. Rack focus. Focus, 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 focus. Does that help storytelling? Of course not. Okay? Shallow depth of field is a tool. Use it, but don't overuse it. I saw an industrial film where a guy shot a metal lathe about this big, and every single shot started out of focus and racked in. Out of focus and racked in. Why? Because he could. Certainly didn't help sell the metal lathe. All right, but is it the film look? What is the film look? I always said that if I got myself and 9 other DPs in a room, we'd have 11 opinions. Okay? If you ever get a chance, get the American Society of Cinematographers manual. It's a great Bible. They annotate everything. And part of the reason that they do is film was expensive. And 100 years ago, you didn't know what you had until it came back from the lab. So you didn't want to screw up. So the American Society of Cinematographers has actually defined what makes the film look. It's a wider contrast ratio, which is dynamic range. We'll talk about that. It's more highlights and more shadow detail and attention to both. It's a wider color gamut, which thankfully most of the cameras of color science now will let you do. And it's something called motion blur and strobing. All right? Let's say I framed this shot, and I'm going to pan, and move the camera, I'm going to pan from here to there. Okay? A videographer, if you go into their manual and look at the focal length of the lens that you've set, it will tell you how fast to make that move. You know how fast it is? I like that. Right? Because if you pan fast, you get strobing. And strobing is physics. There is nothing you can do about it. So what happens when you pan fast, particularly when you're shooting at 24 frame, when you pan fast, the background will go like that. Doesn't matter how good you are, it will happen. All right? Oh, no, that's not right. I've seen this Tom Cruise movie where the camera's panning and he's on a motorcycle, Sure, next time you go and watch an action movie, pay attention. Because Hollywood has figured out how to move the camera quick. They haven't figured out how to stop strobing, but they figured out how to move the camera quick. And the secret is, if you're going to move quick, keep Tom Cruise in the center of the frame. And if he's in the center of the frame, that's where you're looking. Next time you go to a movie, try to pull your film. You want to slow down your moves. Okay? Shutter speed. I'm not going to try to get online. You guys, if you want to take a picture, you can get that. This Comes from indietips.com. They've got a nice little tutorial video there on explaining shutter speed and how it works and how you can use it and why you should and why you shouldn't. You know, how many times have we seen people shoot fast action and not figure out why it's looking so horrible? Okay. All right, let's talk about creating a look. The problem we have today is all the cameras are really good. You grab a camera out of the box, you turn it on, you're going to make pretty pictures. You're not going to have a look, but you're going to make pretty pictures, okay? So people are losing the idea. So what is a look? All right, let's go back. I'm going to pull up here an ancient movie. All right, give you some examples. Maybe you've seen this. Anybody remember this movie? All right, Lord of the Rings. When they were in the Shire, everything was warm. Peter Jackson did this on purpose. This was color science, this was lighting, this was gels and filters. Why did he do it? Because as it's warm, it makes you, the audience, emotionally comfortable. You're happy, okay? But every time we saw Gollum, it was cold, all right? And the reason for that is he didn't want you to feel warm and fuzzy. He wanted you to be worried. He wanted you to be tense. He wanted you to be scared. And he did that by creating different looks. Okay? So when I talk about look, yes, you could do a whole film and have one vision and one look, and that's fine. Or you don't have to. You can have totally different looks based on the scenes you're doing and the type of film you're doing. A romantic comedy is going to be warm. A film noir is not. Okay? So these are the things that you have to start thinking about when you say, all right, how am I going to get my look? What do I want to achieve? This is an interesting thing. Here's a DP saying, at our first meeting, Greg handed me several tear sheets from a current Prada ad campaign. Showed me precisely what colors he wanted, the quality of the shadows, the ideal depth of field, and so on and so forth. And this let him then design the film stock tests, which would be ISOs on digital cameras now, choosing the lights and lenses. So he did a whole bunch of testing before they ever shot anything. Plan, plan, plan. Okay, creating a look. You can do it in camera, okay? And in camera, you're going to do it with lighting and filters. You're going to do it with the scene files and the color science that the camera has. You can also do it in shot composition. Okay. I kind of prefer to do that. Yeah, except you're stuck with whatever you shot. Right? Plan, plan, plan. Okay? But you can also do it in post. Now, in post, you get into this whole issue of, well, then do I shoot in RAW or do I shoot in log? And when we talk about resolution, which we will in a minute, and we talk about RAW and log, the only people who really, really, really like this is the storage media manufacturers. All right? Because these are huge files. All right? Normal three-point lighting. Okay? Not 2, 3-point. All right? A key light, a fill light, and a backlight. Now, you can get really involved in this. I like to do a lot of edge lighting. Okay? I like to make sure lots of parts of the background are not lit. All right? People who come from a TV background, and I was there, have this whole idea that we have to light the entire room, and it has to be flat. No, not at all. Okay? Negative fill. Negative fill is an interesting concept. Basically, what's happening when you have negative fill is you are controlling the reflection of the light. Everything reflects light. If you walk into a set and you've got white walls, yeah, it's going to reflect. If you've got a car over here, naturally, it's going to reflect. An actor's face will reflect light on the next actor. all right? So negative fill is a way of approaching that, and it can be very simple. It could be hanging duvetine to cover anything that you don't want to reflect. Now, again, go to No Film School. They have a great piece explaining negative fill. It's something that people don't think about. If they think about lighting, thank you. But they don't think about the dramatic aspects of what you can do when you start shaping or removing the light. Okay, use matte boxes and filters. Very few manufacturers will sell you a camera that has the matte box on it. Right? It's usually an accessory. A lot of people don't bother with them. You know what the primary purpose of a matte box is for? The primary purpose is to keep errant light off of the lens. Right? Because light's coming from everywhere. But of course, now that you've got that control in front of the lens, perfect to add your filters, drop them in. All right? And our friends Roscoe, please go over and talk to Emily so she can give you all the detail on this. But the fact of the matter is, you can totally change the look without changing the color science in your camera by changing the filters. Okay? So another tool for you. Use your LUTs. Now, let's see if this will work. Every camera manufacturer now is basically, on their website, are putting up LUTs, lookup tables. And LUTs are colors files that they have created for the camera. Okay, because the camera comes with usually maybe 4 to 6 built in. Not very good. Okay, so let's see if this will actually play. Nope, not going to. Okay, sorry. One more try. Okay, now mirror the. Getting close. Let's see if it'll work now. Okay, so these are Panasonic's Vericam LUTs. Okay, you get the idea, all right? Lots of different color balances. Let's go, sorry. Nope. Bernie,
I've heard there's a challenge because you don't want to bake in a LUT.
Yeah. Well, that's, again, debatable. There's a great school of thought if people says, no, I don't want to build, bake in a LUT, because then I'm stuck. What it means is if you pick one of those colors, I'm sorry, put this back here. When you pick one of those color sciences, that means that you're stuck with that look. You've recorded it. If you want, then you in post, you made it, oh, that was a stupid decision. You know, then you got to try to fix it. And coloring, maybe, maybe not, but it is burnt in. So yeah, there are two schools of thought on that. If you do use LUTs and you do then have the color locked in, but if you know what you're doing and you've thought it out in advance, you've just saved a lot of time for your color scientists later. Yeah. All right. You can create a look via shot composition. Sometime go back and watch Citizen Kane. It is amazing because first off, there is no shallow depth of field in the entire movie. Citizen Kane, everybody always remembers the dramatic shot from low angle up at Orson Welles. They actually dug a hole in the floor of the studio to put the camera. Okay? So where you place the camera, I always tell, when I do film classes, I always tell people, you can put the camera right here. Is that really where you want it? You know, it's kind of, sorry, but it's kind of a boring shot. You know, well, this is a little better. You know, I mean, that type of thing. You need to think where you're putting the camera. And again, this is the difference between capturing and creating. Okay. How do you create a look then? All right, you don't like any of those LUTs, you want to build your own, you can. It's really laborious. You kind of need to be a little bit of a scientist to do it, but you certainly can do it. And these are the things that you have to play with in order to do it. Let's look at some of them. Let's start with gamma. Gamma is really important, but read this. The ratio of light input to light output as processed through the camera. What does that mean? Okay. This is what it means. There are things called gamma curves. And if we say that this is black and this is pure white, the red line there is what's known as a 45-degree normal gamma. Okay? If we actually change the gamma curve and go here with this teal one, cyan one, what we've done is we've shortened the time going from black to white. And by doing that, we add contrast. Okay? Conversely, if we flatten the curve so that it takes longer for the camera to get from black to white, we end up with less contrast, but interestingly enough, more tonality. Okay? Which means you're capturing more of the image. Which means if you want to go into post, then you got a whole lot more to play with. And if you don't, you still have captured more. Okay? Now, I don't know with this lighting if you'll be able to really see this, but this is normal gamma. There's your high contrast, 0.75. You show this slide to any videographer in the world, and they will go right over there to 75. And why is that? That's because that's what you see on television. Because television has always been high contrast. You show this to any filmmaker, cinematographer, and they'll instantly go right here. And they'll say, oh, can you make it flatter? All right, I want to capture more of this stuff. We'll get into that in a minute. So gamma is really important. Here's an example. This is your typical video gamma on the cameras. This is something called cine gamma, where they have flattened it some. And you see what's happening. We're holding more detail in the sky. Actually, if we had the lights off and everything, you can see the girl's face here, which you really can't over there, so you're pulling up the detail in the blacks as well. That's by adjusting the gamma. Okay, look at this picture. What are you going to expose for? If you are a videographer, the cloud. I can't let that blow out. If you are a cinematographer, the shadows, the darks, the blacks. And traditionally the reason for this is because a cinematographer knew his film stocks and knew how much latitude, that is kind of like gamma, from black to white, he had. And so he knew he could expose for this because this would hold. Video cameras could never do that. Digital cinema cameras can. So why would we expose for this when we now can expose for that? Okay, again, different way of thinking. All right. This is what happens. When you look at black to white, here's our slope. Okay, there's a couple of points. This is what's referred to as the toe. And this is where you're setting your black point. Okay? Doesn't have to be here. You can rise it up. If you do raise it up, what will happen is your dark areas tend to get a little muddy. So you don't want to go a long way up. But then as we go on up the curve, we get to the top, and this is called the knee point. Now, we're doing the same thing at the top end of the curve. in that this is where it's going to clip off. But we can bend this. We can adjust this any way we want from here to here. And if we bring it down, we're going to get more latitude. Okay? So, dynamic range. How much shadow and highlight detail can be reproduced before hitting pure black or pure white? Most motion picture film has 14 stops of latitude. Age-old video cameras had 5. Okay? No wonder everybody went, oh, video never looks as good as film. Well, duh. All right. But now, digital cinema cameras have over 14 stops, most of them. All right? You'll also hear this referred to as latitude. All right, let's look at this image. I took this picture up at Jackson Hole. Okay. There's about 16, I'm sorry it's getting cropped off here. There's about 16 stops in this is a still, in this still image. From the whites in the mountains down to the dark shadows on the barn is about 16 stops, okay? Which means that with most digital cinema cameras, yeah, a little of that snow is going to get lost because you got 14 plus stops, okay? But you're going to get most of it, of that image, all right? Now, typical gammas, there's something called Rec 709, and Rec 709 is what broadcast is, okay? Here we go from black to white. So what's going to happen is after about 6.5 stops, you're going to lose the snow. Okay, but wait a minute, there were 16 stops of latitude in there. We're going to lose a lot. Okay? This is what happens in your digital cinema cameras. Basically, you are slowing that gamma curve way down. And by doing that, you're going to get 14 plus stops of latitude. Okay? So again, that's something you need to think about when you're setting up the camera, depending on what type of stuff you're shooting. All right, let's very quickly talk about resolution. How many people here have a 4K television set? Okay. How many people here are watching 4K on that television set? Real 4K? Here's the deep, dark secret, folks. There are two. One is all of them look good. They definitely look very good. But all of the manufacturers are playing tricks with you. All of the 4K sets, this is not one, but all the 4K sets will up-res whatever comes into them. All right? And Netflix and Amazon and all the people who say, we'll deliver 4K right to your house, will, but they have a thing which is called QoS, quality of service, which means you're getting 4K, but now your neighbor logs on. Whew. The bandwidth takes a hit. Well, they don't want you to lose the image, so what they do is they down-res it. But then you're sitting there going, yeah, but I'm paying for 4K, I want to see 4K. Your TV will up-res it. You'll never know, okay? The only way you can truly see 4K on your set is if you take one of Tor's cameras and shoot 4K and connect it directly to it. Or you've got a 4K Blu-ray. Otherwise, there's some mumbo-jumbo probably going on. The other thing about 4K is it's not really great for viewing, but it's terrific for archiving. Okay? If I'd have shot all that stuff in the Caribbean in a digital format, like maybe in 4K, I'd be retired now. All right? Archiving makes perfect sense. It is sharper footage and reduced noise, even if you're delivering to the web and you're going out on standard def. Shoot it in 4K, in 4K. It'll always look better when, because you got so much information. You can go in and stabilize, still have a nice image that's all in high def. Won't be 4K, but it's all in high def and it looks great. Yes, you can. Scares the death out of me. And the reason I say that is I have heard Hollywood producers, when they hear this, go, great, we only need one camera. We don't need an operator. All we need is a wide shot. Okay? But now let's talk about resolution a little bit further. here's the other deep, dark secret. If that was a 4K set, no one in this room would see 4K. In order to see 4K resolution, you have to fill your field of vision. You're going to be right here. So you guys are getting maybe 1080, quickly to 720, standard F back there. But nobody does that. What do? We buy bigger and bigger sets, and then we move 6 to 8 feet away from them. Okay? So resolution is a crazy, crazy thing. And we're nowhere near done. We're not even close. We may get to my 64K Vericam, who knows? Because we're going to 8K real quick here. Some of you probably already have. The Olympics coming up in Japan are going to be shot in 8K. And NHK, who's the broadcaster, is real proud of that. So at NAB, I went up to him and I said, okay, why are you doing that? Because we can, and 8K is great, and 8K is the best. And I said, right, who's going to see it? And they said, all throughout Tokyo, we're going to hang these big jumbo screens, and people will be able to see it. Well, there was the first red flag. Hang the screens. So that means you're going to take the audience and levitate them up and get them close to the screen in order for them to see 8K. Now, ain't going to happen. They're going to do it because it's going to be great for archiving and post work. You know, not so good for viewing. But now it's just math. Okay? We're not going to stop at 8K. I'm pretty sure the government's got 128K cameras now. They can pull your license plate off your car as you're driving from space. Okay? But here's the thing. Over 8K, even if you fill your field of vision and you have the best eyesight in the world, over 8K, you will not be able to see the difference. And the reason why is because your eye is not set up to see resolution. We weren't designed that way. Okay? So just be aware of that. And resolution, by the way, has nothing to do with film look. All right? Who cares about resolution? You should think about HDR, high dynamic range, which goes back to what the ASC said. It is part of the film look. Okay? All these fancy TVs probably all have high dynamic range. That's great. What is high dynamic range? Increased color volume. And again, that was part of what defines a film look. Basically, if you look at this little bitty triangle right in here, that's traditional broadcast. That's the amount of color it has. Okay? When you start playing around with these cameras, you're getting up here. So you're getting tons and tons of more color information. What does it look like? Okay? This is SDR. There's high dynamic range. A significant difference. And if you go to NAB this year, they all do it. If you go to NAB this year, walk into one of the manufacturers, they will have a big high resolution screen up, and they'll have an HDR screen. And I don't care if it's an 8K screen here and it's HDR over here, you walk in there, your eye will always go to the HDR because you can see it. You cannot see resolution. So this is really important. And the digital cinema cameras, by and large, will allow you to do this now. So for HDR, you need 14 plus stops of latitude, you need wide color gamut, and possibly you're going to want to record log or raw. Okay. What is raw? Okay. By definition, raw is capturing what the sensor sees with nothing in between. It is the raw information. Okay? You'll hear the phrase debayer because when you capture raw, this is what it looks like. It then has to be debayered or processed in order for your eye to be able to see it. By the way, that was a Kodak invention. Okay? All right, so if the definition of raw is we capture what's on the sensor untouched, be very careful, because not all camera manufacturers are playing fairly. There is metadata in the raw data, and there are manufacturers who compress in that metadata. If you are compressing, how can you call that raw? But they do. So do a little research if you're thinking you're going to shoot raw. Okay? Who shoots in raw? Netflix. Netflix and Amazon are the big boys in Hollywood now. Disney will be soon. Apple is coming on strong too. But Netflix started it by saying that if you shoot for Netflix, here are the cameras that you can use, and you have to shoot in RAW. And 4K. Interestingly enough, when they made that statement, most of Hollywood was shooting on the Alexa. And the Alexa is a great camera. But the Alexa compressed the RAW. Okay? So I had a DP who said, it's okay, I'm going to use my Alexa. They'll never know. Yes, they will, because as part of the contract, you have to turn in all of your raw footage. Okay? So Netflix is big on it, and they're doing it for two reasons that I can think of. One is archiving, and two is proofing, so they can go back and do whatever they want with it in any format, in any type of media later. Smart move, but they got money. Now, if any of you have shot raw, you know it looks pretty lousy, and then you got to fix it. Okay? You got to develop it, if you will. All right? If you haven't seen or played with raw and you want to, go to this redshark.com. Okay? You can download this file. Then go to our friends at Blackmagic and get DaVinci and sit there and play to your heart's content. And as Tor said, it's free. I recommend it to everybody. Okay? So you can play around with it. You can see what you can do. Right? Hollywood loves it. If you're a one-man band, for God's sakes, if you're a wedding videographer, don't pay any attention to this. Okay? All right. That's raw. Now let's talk about log. Because everybody in the camera manufacturers is now branding in their camera something called log, V-log for Panasonic, S-log for Sony, C-log for Canon, et cetera, et cetera. Okay? And what log is it's flattening the gamma curve like we talked about, but it is compressing a lot. And they do that so your file sizes are a whole lot smaller. Okay? So those are the trade-offs between log and raw. This was shot in log. Kind of looks like raw. This is what happens after you grade it. Okay, so the tonality is there, particularly with the cameras that have the 14 plus stops. Now we get to the big question. Should you shoot raw? Well, it depends on what you're doing. Here's my friend Art, New York. He does a lot of multi-camera shoots. He does not shoot log. He does not shoot raw. Okay? He says it'd be a waste of time. I go in, I light, I set my cameras with the look that I want, I shoot, I edit later the day, 2 days, client's happy, we're done. Okay? So again, just depends on what you want to do. Another way to get the film look, and everybody's excited about this, is anamorphic. Okay? Anamorphic is the cinematography. What does that mean? It means you're going to be shooting very wide and it's going to shrink it. Movies did this all the time when they shot anamorphic. It would shrink it. Then when they would project it, they'd bring it back out. Okay? You can do that now with digital cinema cameras. What happens when you shoot anamorphic, the first thing is the last thing listed, you have to have a new lens. You have to have an anamorphic lens. Okay? What happens when you shoot anamorphic is you get a wider field of view. If you are a fan of J.J. Abrams, you get lens flares. Okay? So when you see a horizontal lens flare, anamorphic. Okay? The other thing that happens is the bokeh goes oval. It's not round. So if you ever see oval bokehs, anamorphic. Okay? So yeah, there are a lot of people who like this look. They're going, okay, that looks cinematic to me. Can I do it? Yes, you can. Don't know if you can see this very well. The website, it's on Vimeo. It's Rule, R-U-L-E, Learning Labs series. And Rule is a dealer in Boston. And they had a guy from Panasonic, and that's about an hour-and-a-half tutorial on anamorphic. Okay? So if you're really interested in knowing more about anamorphic, that's a great resource for you. Okay. My friends at Panasonic, how many people have seen the GH5? Okay. If anybody else wants to look at it, here it is. My friends at Panasonic said, oh, you're going to San Diego? Take this down and show it to them. I said, oh, come on, it's an old camera. But here it is. You can shoot anamorphic with this camera. Okay?
It's real, too. It's real anamorphic.
It is real anamorphic, yes. Yeah.
How much isn't?
Yes. Now, this is from B&H's website. I'm not encouraging or discouraging anybody to buy things from B&H. I just put it up here representative. This is about what the GH5 will cost. This is what an anamorphic lens will cost you. Okay? So again, you have to think about that. I like anamorphic. Well, maybe you could rent a lens. Okay? Because it's just going to add cost. All right, this I shot on the GH5. That's raw. It's not anamorphic, it's just raw. And I haven't graded it yet, but that just kind of gives you a thought about what you can do. Okay, let's recap. Plan, plan, plan. Okay. Think about what you're going to do before you get on set. I love working on a project where you go in and the director and the DP and everybody knows exactly what they're going to do that day. Now, does that mean you can't be spontaneous? Of course you can. But you got to be a little careful if you're spontaneous. I did a shoot, and I was up in LA. It was a union shoot. And we were shooting outdoors in a very beautiful botanical garden. And we had the shot, and it's getting to be the blue hour, you know, it's going to look real nice. And it's over here, and I was producing and directing. And I'm standing there, and I'm looking at the shot, and I'm going, it's a whole lot better over here. We had planned it for days over here. No, it's a whole lot better over here. Quick, reset everything, move everything over here. We did. Except over here was a ladder in the shot. And we looked everywhere to get the guy to move the ladder. We couldn't find him. I'm panicking. The sun's going down. We're missing the shot. Everything else is ready. I went up and grabbed the ladder and moved it. I got shut down for 3 days. So, I'm sorry? Did I get the shot? Yeah, I got the shot. But what I'm saying is plan. Yes, you can be spontaneous. Just be cautious when you're spontaneous and make sure everybody's safe. Yes, yes. Okay. Know your terminology. You know, don't tell your camera operator to pan up to the tree. Create your look. Understand the benefits of lighting and negative fill, shutter speed, color science, gamma and HDR, raw versus log, and anamorphic. Okay? Now, I'd like to finish up with a story about Mario. No, not that guy. Okay. I have a friend in New York, and he was doing a series for Discovery. And they arranged, it was going to be shot in Italy, and they arranged for him to work with this DP named Mario. And so Mario was an extremely meticulous person, very, very precise. So They got the crew, they went to Italy, and the first day of the shoot is at a beach. And it's just about dawn. And they had the crew there from early, the night before, setting everything up, and everything's all ready to go. And the producer's sitting there, and Mario finally arrives. And Mario walks up, here's the camera. Mario walks up past the camera and just stands staring out to the ocean. Right. And the producer's going, Mario, we need to get going. Not yet, not yet. And he stood there for about 15 minutes. And the producer's dying, right? And finally, Mario goes, okay, now. And they shot the shot. The problem is, this went on for 2 weeks, running around Italy. Every setup, Mario would stand there and just wait and wait and wait. Now, when they were finished, it was an hour program for Discovery. When they were finished, the producer was flying back to New York with an hour and 15 minutes of footage. Oh, God. He said, I'd have fired myself. But what happened? They get back there, every shot cut together perfectly. Because Mario had it all up here. All right? That's a talent. It's not, I think I'd probably shoot a little more to cover myself, but that's a talent. Okay. A lot of information. As we all know in this industry, there is too much information. And people say to me, how do you stay on top of it? And my answer is you can't. Okay? And I figured since Disney's spending so much on the new Star Wars land, we might as well get in the mood for that. But one of the ways that you can is here. What you guys are doing at groups like this is critically important. And as I travel around the country, I hear a lot of things about people say, well, we don't need to come to these things. We can get all this information on the internet. No, you can't. Okay? And if you can, it's going to take you much longer. So be involved in San Diego Media Pros. It's a great opportunity to help you to stay on top of it. Now, for resources, here's a list of some that I would recommend. The American Society of Cinematographers, of course, their manual is great. They have a newsletter. They have a digital magazine, all kinds of stuff. Secondly, whatever camera you're going to use, test it first, but also go to the camera manufacturer's website. They all have tons of information up there. Some of them are more logical than others. Some of them are actually written in English. But again, good information. CreativeCow.net is another good one. Cinematography mailing list. DVX User. That was started a long time ago by Barry Green and Jared Land, and basically it was for the old DVX camera. It now covers every camera out there. That's another good resource. NoFilmSchool.com, Filmmaker's Blog, and IndieTips.com. There's a lot of information out there. I thank you guys for your attention. I know I went through a lot of stuff real fast. Like I said, we could dig down forever, but maybe this will help you the next time that you're out on a production, or even before the production, to think about what it is you're trying to achieve. We're supposed to be visual storytellers, right? Let's keep that visual first and foremost in what we're doing. Any questions afterward? Yep, thank you guys. Absolutely. Absolutely true. Back up all the time.
So we shoot, I don't know if this is working or not, but we shoot in RAW on the main camera, but we have a lot of support cameras because we're doing an adventure travel series.
Right.
So we have everything's in 4K, quote unquote. But what is your suggestion? I mean, does it make a lot of sense for us to be shooting in that, 4.6K raw? If we're going to just have to mix it with something that's a standard 4K? I know you have that ability to push in a little bit.
Right, right. It also depends. It also depends on the needs of the client. How do they feel? If you've sold them on the concept we're shooting in 4K and it's going to be raw and all that kind of stuff, they're going to be stuck with it. File size is the big issue. File size is the big issue. I mean, personally, I don't think so. I don't think I would. But it's just a question of where you're at.
Be more like Mario.
Yeah, be more like Mario. I wish I could be like Mario. I mean, I'm too impatient. Yeah.
Any other questions?
Yes, sir.
One observation was you didn't really touch on bit depth
No.
in relation to over resolution.
Yes. Yeah. It's kind of like I was trying to condense down because Tom said we want to get them out of here by about 8:30, and I was just like, where do I kind of draw the line? But yeah, I mean, we could have a big conversation on that as well.
Let's continue the conversation. Thank you, Bernie.
All right, thank you,
We really
guys.
appreciate you being here this evening. So before everybody takes off, we have a couple of things to, we're not allowed to use the word raffle, so we call it a crapple, but it's not crapple. It's some really nice stuff. Oh, we have some other stuff too. Who has, oh, Keith, you've got it.
I've been mixing them.
Oh, Keith has been mixing the